Have you ever wondered why we know so much about the world outside, yet know so little about ourselves? Why is it that deep down there's always a part of you that feels there's something greater you have forgotten? Discover the secret behind your soul's journey, a secret that has been hidden for over 1,000 years, which could change the entire way you perceive this existence. There is a book concealed from mainstream history for over 1,200 years, protected by the silent hands of mysterious masters detailing the sacred stages that our souls undergo before entering a new life. It is no coincidence that this book has been burned, hidden, and defamed by forces that do not want you to know the truth. Because once you understand its revelations, you will no longer be a pawn swept away by life. You will become the architect of your own destiny. Today's world teaches you to chase success, fame, and wealth, but rarely encourages you to stop and ask, who am I really? What am I here to do? The sad truth is that many people spend their entire lives climbing ladders only to finally realize that the ladder is leaning against the wrong wall. But if you know the journey your soul chose before you were born, if you recognize that every suffering, every challenge, and every encounter in life is not random, you will no longer be confused or fearful as you once were. You will awaken. The secret of that 1,200-year-old book is not just a list of lofty philosophies. It is a detailed map of your journey from being pure light to the very moment you first cried upon birth. Each stage in that journey carries a meaning, a lesson, a gift that if you know how to unwrap, you will never again feel lost in this chaotic world. There are things in this life that no one teaches you, that you were not born by chance into this family, this form, this era, that the wounds you suffer, the dreams you yearn for, were chosen by your soul beforehand with wisdom that far exceeds human understanding, and that even if you forget, your soul has never ceased trying to remind you of that sacred design. Today, if you have the courage to listen, the humility to remember, and the perseverance to awaken, you will hold in your hands a treasure that countless people have been deprived of for centuries, the ultimate power to control your own journey. It is not a miracle from the outside, but a journey back within, where your true power has always resided. In the coming journey, we will unlock each sacred door that your soul has crossed before coming here. 7 stages, 7 secrets, 7 keys for you to understand that you have never been small, never alone, and certainly never a victim of fate. You are the one who has written your own story from the very beginning, with light, with freedom, and with love. Phase 1, the call of the universal consciousness. Have you ever felt a strange nostalgia that you couldn't name? A feeling that you belong somewhere far beyond the cities and lands you once knew? The secret behind that feeling is no coincidence. It is an ancient whisper, the call of the universal consciousness, trying to awaken you from the slumber of the world. There was a time before time existed as we know it, before your soul took on this garment of flesh. There was a common pulse that connected all life. The universal consciousness, an infinite sea of energy, sent out an invitation, not forced, not imposed, simply a gentle wave spreading through the dimensions, seeking souls willing to embark on the journey of experience and evolution. And your soul heard it, not with your ears, not with your mind, but with your purest essence, the immortal spirit that answers the invitation with unconditional consent. You choose to return to the physical universe, where pain and joy, where light and darkness meet, because you know that only in trial can your light shine brighter than ever. That call, though it has been through thousands of lifetimes, has never been lost. It still resonates within you in the quiet moments when your mind is no longer overwhelmed by daily worries. It appears in the clear eyes of a child, in the music that moves your heart, in the heartbreaking beauty of an afternoon when you cannot explain why you cry. If you have ever sat alone in the middle of the night feeling a wordless longing, a need without direction, that is the call. It needs no language because it speaks directly to your soul, and it patiently waits for you to realize that you are not just a finite body trying to survive. You are a part of the universe that is yearning to awaken itself with every breath, every choice, every moment of existence. I once knew a young man who lived in a big city full of lights and borrowed dreams. He had everything people wanted, a brilliant career, money, recognition. But every night after the applause, he felt an indescribable emptiness inside. One day, standing in the middle of a concert amidst the sea of people, in the crazy sound, he suddenly felt like he was drifting away from himself. Suddenly, all the sounds faded, and in that moment of absolute silence, he heard, not with his ears, but with his soul, an invitation. It's time to go home. From that day on, he abandoned the path that society imposed on him and began a journey of spiritual discovery, searching for the truth that goes beyond fame or material success. That story is not just one person's. It is the story of all of us, those who have heard the call even just once and know that this life has a much deeper meaning than what the eyes see and the ears hear. The most dangerous thing in the modern world is not material poverty, but spiritual poverty. When the call is drowned out by the constant noise of the media, social pressure, and endless worries, we forget that we are not here just to survive. We are here to remember, to reconnect with the eternal truth. You are not a lonely individual. You are a branch of the universal consciousness discovering itself through your eyes, hands, and heart. And no matter how long you have forgotten that, it never really leaves you. It waits patiently like a beacon in the dark, so that when you are tired of the wrong paths, when you are kneeling before the burdens of life, you will look up and see that the light has never been extinguished. Remember the feeling that you are lost, the feeling that something greater is waiting for you, is not weakness. It is a sign that you are awakening. It is a call to your soul inviting you back to the eternal journey you chose long ago. The call of the universal consciousness is not a one-time thing. It keeps ringing in your dreams in moments of strong premonition, in the gazes of strangers you feel like you have known for eons. Listen, trust the vibrations that logic cannot explain. Because when you begin to listen to that call, you also begin to return to yourself. The truest, strongest, greatest person you were always born to be. Phase 2 Life Review. Have you ever woken up in the middle of the night, looked back at your life and whispered, if only I had been braver, if only I had told the truth, if only I had loved more, forgiven more. Those if-onlys are not just regrets, but also signals from your soul, reminding you that deep down you still yearn to live true to your purest self. Before you entered this world, your soul went through a great ritual, the life review ritual. It was not a trial with harsh sentences. There were no accusations, there were no hammers of judgment. It was just you with pure awareness standing before the entire story you have lived through. No one but you can feel every moment you create, every action, every word, every emotion, as ripples that ripple through the universe. You don't just remember what you did, you relive it. You feel the pain of those you hurt. You feel the radiant joy of those you inspired. You are no longer a bystander to your own story, but become every heartbeat, every tear, every smile you leave in the lives of others. There was a man I knew who throughout his youth lived with anger and resentment. He pushed away those who loved him, most erecting walls of pride to hide the deep fear in his heart. It was only when he was near death in his long, delirious dreams that he began to see familiar faces again. His mother's face, the sad eyes of his ex-wife, the faint smile of the young son he had abandoned. Each face bore a deep cut to his heart. No one blamed him, only sadness and silence. It was in those dreams that he undertook his life review and found in the pain a deep desire to make amends, to be loved, to be forgiven. You don't have to wait until you're facing death to undertake this review. You can begin right now. Every time you stop to ask yourself, what mark have I left on the lives of others today? You are opening a door to your deepest self-awareness. Every time you have the courage to apologize, every time you choose forgiveness over hatred, you are rewriting your soul's journey in a more beautiful way. The beauty of this is that life review is not meant to make you wallow in guilt. It's not meant to punish yourself. It's meant to make you understand deeply that every action you take, no matter how small, has the power to shape the world. No action is meaningless, no love is wasted, and no mistake cannot be transformed into wisdom if you have the courage to face it with an open heart. If today you feel the burden of mistakes, know that your soul is ready for release. Forgiveness is not just an action you do for others. Forgiveness is a gift you give to yourself to remove the invisible chains that are holding you back from the pure light you are meant to be. A woman once shared her story with me. Many years ago, she had cut off contact with her elderly father because of unnamed wounds. After decades of resentment and silence when she heard that her father was seriously ill, she was faced with the most difficult decision: to visit him or to let time pass without saying goodbye. In the end, she chose to go. They did not speak many words, but with just a trembling hand, a tear running down her dry face, she felt something deeper than any apology: forgiveness. Not just for her father, for herself, because in that moment she had set her soul free. A life review doesn't require perfection. It only requires honesty. Honesty to the places you haven't loved enough. Honesty to the places you've hurt others and yourself, and above all, Honesty to your deepest desire, the desire to become the most beautiful version of your soul you've ever imagined. No one walks through life without leaving a trace. The question isn't whether you leave a trace, but what you want that trace to be. Pain or healing, despair or hope. Every day you live, every choice you make is how you write the next chapter of your soul's map. Live with the knowledge that every action, every word is a seed sown into the eternal field of the universe. And if today you plant love, tomorrow you will reap far more than you ever dared to dream. Phase 3, the Soul Council. Have you ever wondered why you sometimes meet people who seem to have known you from somewhere beyond your memory? Why are there fleeting encounters that leave an indelible mark? Or are the great choices in life sometimes decided by an inexplicable intuition? Behind all those seemingly coincidental moments, there is a miraculous truth that your soul knew long before you cried your first cry in this world. Before you embarked on your earthly journey, you were not alone. You sat down in a timeless light before a soul council, ancient entities of compassion and wisdom, companions of your soul through many lifetimes. They were not just supervisors, but people who loved you with a pure love that went beyond all earthly concepts. And in that sacred space, you and they together draw up a plan for this life. Imagine a room without walls, only shimmering light, moving like silk ribbons in the vast universe. There is no judgment, no condemnation, only deep understanding where each soul is naked with all that it has been, has become, and has dreamed of becoming. You stand in the midst of that light, facing the purest truth, the unfinished wounds, the unfinished lessons, the burning desires from previous incarnations. With the Soul Council, you choose the lessons you will experience, the challenges you are willing to accept, the souls who will accompany you in your new life. Sometimes soulmates, sometimes enemies, just to help you grow faster. No one is forced. Each soul chooses its own journey with freedom and unconditional love. I once heard about a girl who since childhood experienced coldness and rejection from her own mother. Her entire childhood, she grew up feeling unloved, as if she were a stranger in her own family. However, instead of sinking into pain, she chose the path of forgiveness, healing, and becoming a therapist, bringing light to other wounded children. When she learned about the soul journey, she realized a truth that brought tears to her eyes. Before she was born, her soul had made a deal with her mother's soul, that she would play the role of the rejecter, to force her to find true love from within herself. A painful lesson, but also the most precious gift. When you understand that the most important souls in your life, whether they bring happiness or pain, are all old friends from the spirit world, you will stop blaming, stop hating. You will start to see every encounter with the eyes of deep compassion, because no one comes to you without a reason. No pain is meaningless, and no separation is accidental. You may have felt a strange power when you stood at a crossroads in life, a silent voice, a feeling that cannot be expressed in words, but is stronger than any reasoning. It is the silent guidance of your soul council. They do not intervene harshly, do not map out every step, but send subtle signals through premonitions, dreams, small signs that only an open heart can recognize. The most wonderful thing is, even if you forget, that meeting the Soul Council has never forgotten you. They follow every step you take, every choice you make, every lesson you struggle to understand. When you fall into the depths of despair, they do not judge. They just open their arms patiently, waiting for the moment when you remember that you were never truly alone. And whenever you feel lost, you can find your way back through deep meditation, through lucid dreams, through quiet moments when the outside world stops. You can hear that loving whisper again. You can ask, what do I need to remember right now? And listen with your heart, not your head, because sometimes just one moment of connection with your soul council can change the direction of a lifetime. The Soul Council is not some far-fetched idea or a miracle reserved for special people. They are there for you right now, as they have been since the beginning of your soul. Remember, you did not come into this world alone. Every step, every decision, every stumble, there is a group of loving souls silently cheering you on behind the invisible curtain. Dare to believe that you are supported, guided, and loved unconditionally, even when you forget how to love yourself. Stage 4, choosing your life purpose. Do you ever feel that even though your life is going well, there is a part of you that whispers that you are not truly living up to your true self? Maybe you have done everything that is expected of you: education, career, family, success. But when the night falls and you are left alone with your own thoughts, a quiet question arises. Is this really the reason I came to this world? In the sacred moment before reincarnation, after your soul has evaluated the unfinished lessons and consulted with the Soul Council, you come to the most important decision of all, choosing your life purpose. No one forced you. No one outlined a fixed path. You, with the wisdom accumulated from thousands of experiences, freely chose the greatest lesson that your soul yearned to complete in this lifetime. There are souls who choose the path of healing to become teachers, healers, guides. There are souls who choose to experience power to lead to change, society to inspire thousands. And there are also souls who choose to learn the lesson of deep humility, to live a simple life, to love in silence, to learn about the fullness from within. But whatever form that purpose takes, it always comes from the same place, love and evolution. No soul chooses a purpose to harm, to retreat, to be small. Every purpose is chosen with the deepest hope that you, with your own unique light, will make this world a little more beautiful, brighter, better than it was before you arrived. I once heard about an ordinary man who spent his whole life selling flowers on a small street corner. The world looked at him and saw him as a nameless shadow. But those who have received a bouquet of flowers from him, accompanied by a gentle smile and a small blessing, have felt something subtle hope. Many people in the midst of their darkest days have found a reason to continue through his simple act. He did not know that his soul had chosen to be a small candle to light up the darkness of desperate hearts. He simply lived out an inner calling that he could not name. You do not have to change the world with great actions to fulfill your purpose in life. Sometimes changing one life is enough to shake the universe. Sometimes saving the light within yourself is the greatest mission. If today you feel like something is missing in your life, do not be discouraged. It is not a sign of failure. It is a reminder that your purpose is still waiting for you. It is not out there. It is within you in the moments when you feel alive in the things that move your heart most deeply. Remember that the purpose of life is not a goal to be conquered, but a fire to be nurtured every day. It does not have to be perfect. It does not have to be great by the world's standards. As long as you live true to your deepest calling, each step you take will be a silent but eternal declaration. I have come, I have loved, I have lived according to my own light. Stage 5, choosing your body and family. Have you ever wondered why you are in this body? Why you were born into this family in this country at this exact moment? Is it all just a random gamble of the universe? Or is there a much deeper truth that your soul knows, but your earthly memory has forgotten? Revealing things you never knew about your own existence before you were born, you chose everything. In the realm of light beyond time, when your soul stands at the threshold of a new life, you are given the power to choose. Choose the body that will house your spirit. Choose the family that will create the initial conditions for your learning journey. Choose the culture, the social environment, and even the hardships you will face. No one imposes, no one forces. You chose with awareness and full understanding of the lesson you were to experience. You considered the myriad possibilities, strong bodies or weak ones, loving families or cold and violent ones, peaceful nations or lands in conflict. You foresaw all the challenges, all the opportunities, all the potential pain, and then from the deepest part of your soul's wisdom, you chose. No one, not even you in this human form, can easily accept this truth. For how can we believe that we have chosen injustice, pain, loss? How can we believe that the deepest wounds in life are not punishments, but gifts in disguise? But the soul does not see things through the victim's eyes as the human mind does. The soul knows that no evolution occurs without challenge. No growth comes without adversity. Just as diamonds are formed only under tremendous pressure, your soul has chosen the perfect conditions to unleash its hidden light. I once knew a man who was born in the darkest slums of the city. He was surrounded by abuse, poverty, and contempt. From a young age, people thought he would end up like so many other failures, but he chose differently. He turned his scars into motivation, his pain into compassion, and later became a community leader, helping thousands of other children escape the path society had set for them. When he shared his story, his eyes lit up, not with anger, but with gratitude. He said, "Without that past, I would never have known how strong and loving I was." His story is just a small part of the countless souls who have chosen the thorny path to find the strength hidden within. And the same is true for you. If you have ever wondered why you suffer so much, it may be because your soul knows you have the power to turn pain into pure gold of awareness. Even your choice of body, tall or short, strong or with physical limitations, is no accident. Maybe you chose a vulnerable body to learn to love yourself unconditionally, Maybe you chose a strong body to serve a greater mission. Either way, this body is not a prison. It is a sacred instrument your soul has chosen to experience the magical game of life. The same goes for your family. Whether they love you deeply or hurt you deeply, your soul has chosen them not for what they do, but for what you will learn from them. A strict father can teach you resilience. A cold mother can push you to learn to heal yourself and give unconditional love. Brothers, sisters troubled, or close relationships, all are indispensable pieces to the soul lesson you are committed to completing. And if you feel out of place in your family, as if you came from another world, know that this is no accident. Pioneer souls often choose the most difficult environments where they can light a fire. When you understand that you chose it all, this body, this family, this situation, with pre-birth clarity, you take back the power that the world has tried to make you forget. You are no longer a victim of circumstances. You become the creator of your own destiny. And every time you love your own body, forgive your family, accept your circumstances, you are truly stepping into the sacred mission that your soul courageously chose long ago. Stage 6, the veil of forgetting. Have you ever looked deep into the eyes of a newborn child and seen a sparkle in them, as if they remembered something the world had forgotten? There is a profound truth behind that gaze, a secret that every soul goes through before entering the mortal world, crossing the veil of forgetting. Before you take your first breath, your soul carries with it all the memories of past lives, the lessons you learned, the wishes you never fulfilled. You know who you are. You know why you have chosen this journey. You remember the light from where you came. You feel the invisible connection between all life. But then to make your journey through the world truly meaningful, your soul accepts a great challenge to forget everything, not because of punishment, not because of the cruel joke of fate. Because if you enter the world with all the wisdom of the universe, there is no room for free choice. There is no room for trust. There is no room for true growth. And like a great artist who throws himself into the uncharted wilderness, you agree to forget everything to have a real chance to create magic from the unknown. The veil of forgetfulness does not fall in a single moment. It slowly settles over your soul like a thick fog, obscuring your memories, blurring your divine plans, so that every experience is new. Every choice is true. And so when you first open your eyes to the world, you no longer remember why you are here. You cry not just because of the cold of the physical world, but because of a homesickness you cannot name. But the veil is never perfect. Memories of the past still seep through dreams, strange premonitions, moments when your heart knows something deep that your mind can't quite explain. When you meet a stranger and it feels like home. When you go to a strange place and your soul awakens as if it's coming home. When in the quiet hours you feel a sweet sadness as if you're missing something sacred but can't quite remember it. It's your soul whispering to you through the thick veil. There was a woman I once knew who had carried with her all her life the feeling that she was different, that this world wasn't really home. From a young age, she had dreams of faraway lands of languages she had never been taught. Memories so vivid that she woke up with tears streaming down her cheeks. She spent years struggling with this feeling of being lost until one day, sitting quietly in meditation, she suddenly remembered she hadn't come here to fit in. She came here to remember. And when she stopped trying to be like everyone else, her true light began to burn brightly. So to you, the veil of forgetting is not a break with your true self. It is only a challenge, a test of faith, and every time you trust your intuition, every time you listen to the quiet voice in your heart, every time you choose love over fear, you are piercing that veil a little at a time. Don't blame yourself if you forget who you are. Don't resent the world for making you forget, because without forgetting, there would be no awakening. Without darkness, there would be no meaning. And without loss, you would never truly appreciate returning. Understand that you have accepted forgetting to have the greatest opportunity of all the opportunity to choose to remember. Not because someone made you go through these things, but because deep down you believe you are strong enough to find your way back. The veil of forgetfulness is not your enemy. It is a silent teacher who creates the perfect conditions for your light to burn from within without any external validation. And when you awaken from the thick fog, you will understand you have not only remembered who you are, you have truly become that person brighter than ever. Stage 7, birth, the leap of faith. Have you ever wondered what did you really experience when you first entered this world? Beneath the first cry, beneath the cold light of the delivery room, beneath the hands that welcomed you into the world, there is a sacred moment that few ever remember. The moment you made one of the most courageous acts of your entire existence. The leap from the realm of light into the realm of the mortal. With no memory, no assurance, only pure faith. You took the leap not because you had to, but because you chose to. When you were on the other side of the curtain, you saw the whole path that stretched out before you. The pains, the failures, the moments of falling, the moments of doubt. You knew that you would forget who you really were, that you would feel completely lost, that you would doubt the light within you, but you chose to step in anyway because you knew that there are lessons that can only be learned in the dark. There are strength that can only be awakened in adversity, and there are fires that burn brightest when there is only darkness around. You don't dance just for yourself. You dance for all the souls who will be touched by the light you light in this world. You dance for the words of love that have not been spoken. You dance for the hearts that need a mirror to remember that they too are light. You dance for the evolution of the entire universal consciousness, an endless dance of souls returning to their source through the experience of love, courage, and freedom. When you were born in the first moments, your soul still held a spark of memory. Newborns see the world with eyes filled with divine wonder, not because everything is new, but because deep down they remember that all they see are temporary masks covering an eternal truth, that all life comes from the same light. But time, like a relentless wave, begins to wash away that memory. Limiting beliefs, inherited fears, societal expectations gradually cover the pure soul in layers of earthly dust. And you grow up beginning to forget that you were once a warrior of light, a bearer of a divine mission to this world. You learn to doubt your own intuition. You learn to hide your dreams. You learn to fear failure, to fear being different, to fear yourself. And in that forgetting, your soul does not get angry, does not abandon you. It waits patiently because it knows that in your darkest moments, a voice will call from within, reminding you that you are more than this body, more than this name, more than the stories others have given you. One day, in the midst of all the chaos, of all the failures, of all the losses, you will look up at the sky or gently place your hand on your heart and feel a truth older than any teaching, that you were not born to live someone else's life, not to endure, not to chase after fleeting illusions. You were born to remember who you are. You were born to love more deeply than the world has taught you. You were born to light up the darkness that only you can reach. And when you remember, even for a brief moment, the entire universe celebrates with you, because every awakened soul is a candle lit in the invisible web of life. And that candle, no matter how small, has the power to tear through the darkness. There was a man who had been drowning in addiction and despair for many years. One night, after losing everything, he sat alone on the cold street, looking at the distant lights in the fog. No one came to save him. No miracle happened, but in that absolute silence, he suddenly felt a very small light in his heart, a faint whisper. I was born for a reason. From that night, step by step, small choice by small choice, he began to return to himself. Today, he stands before thousands of people, telling his story, lighting up hope for those who thought it was too late. You are the same. You don't need to wait for a miracle to come from outside, because the miracle has always been inside you from the moment you courageously jumped into this life. Your birth was not an accident. It is the purest act of faith your soul will ever perform. Cherish this life as a gift you fought for. Live as if every breath you take is a pledge to the universe that you will not waste the light that has been given to you. And no matter how many times you forget, how many times you fall, your soul will always whisper, remember you were born to shine. Why this knowledge is hidden? Have you ever wondered if what you have just discovered is true? Why does the world teach you otherwise? Why have you been told since childhood that you are small, powerless, sinful, needing to suffer, needing permission to exist, instead of being reminded that you are an immortal soul full of power and light? Discover the truth that few dare to admit. The knowledge of the soul has been hidden, deliberately and on purpose, not because of negligence, not because of lack, but because if every human being on this earth knew that they are free beings, the manipulators of power would have no place to hide. A society of awakened souls would not bow to intimidation, would not submit to control based on fear and guilt. It will no longer be easy to be led astray by empty promises of salvation in another world, while the sacred life is being stolen here and now. In the shadows of history, thousands of years ago, there existed ancient manuscripts that recorded the journey of the soul, secrets that today only remain in scattered fragments. Texts like the Codex Anima, The ancient Egyptian soul maps the knowledge of the Essenes, the memories of the Atlantean masters. All were erased or distorted by power systems that feared the awakening of humanity. They burned books. They burned those who recalled the soul's memories. They built creeds, belief systems, whose sole purpose was to bind the soul to a cycle of guilt, fear, and bondage. Not to protect you, but to control you. And you grew up in that world. A world where believing you are small, powerless, and worthless has become the norm. A world that teaches you to doubt your instincts, to scoff at your intuition, and to place blind faith in external systems instead of your inner wisdom. But the truth never goes away. It just gets buried. It lives in every breath you take, in every heartbeat you beat, in every dream you dare not tell anyone. And now, as you listen to these calls, you are awakening the part of your soul that has been waiting for thousands of years to return. You can continue to live as a victim of oblivion, or you can choose, stand up, open your eyes, and remember the truth about yourself, because awakening is not just a gift you give yourself, it is a silent fire that lights up the world around you. If your soul is moved by the whispers of this truth, know this: you have begun. Awakening is not a flash in the pan. It is a journey step by step, breath by breath, choice by choice, back to your true self. The soul memory is never truly gone. It is just dormant, like a seed lying in the ground waiting for spring. You do not need to do extraordinary things to begin. You only need to create the conditions for its germination. Start with mindfulness. Take moments in your day to be truly present without judgment, without haste. Feel your breath, feel your heartbeat, feel the wonder of simply being. Start by remembering your dreams, because it is during sleep, when the conscious mind is relaxed, that your soul communicates most clearly. Symbols, strange stories, emotional moments in dreams, all are little pieces of memory trying to find their way back. Start with meditation, not to hide from the world, but to listen to the world within. In the deep silence, you will hear the old call, the call that has led you through thousands of lifetimes to this moment. And above all, start with courage. The courage to doubt the things you once believed. The courage to love yourself when the world wants you to hate yourself. The courage to follow the path your heart knows is right, even when it goes against the crowd. There was a woman who lived her whole life according to the expectations of others, never daring to ask herself what she really wanted. One day, after a serious illness, she sat by the window watching the yellow leaves fall in the wind, and for the first time in her life, she whispered to the universe, "I want to remember who I am." From that day on, she began her journey to find herself. No fuss, no rush. But every day she got closer to her soul, like a child finding her lost home for the first time. You are the same. It doesn't matter where you are on this journey. As long as you hear that call, you are ready. The universe is never in a hurry, but it also never abandons you. Every moment you choose love over fear, every time you choose to listen over running away, every time you choose to remember over forgetting, you are unlocking the path back to yourself, and you will not walk alone. The universe, your guiding spirits, and the eternal light within you will be with you every step of the way. See you again at the next gateway. Thank you.